well, laugh Olympics, I guess. Oh my goodness. Just trying to keep my mind on off that stuff going on over there in Europe and trying to keep a positive outlook. I'm dying laughing because somebody posted a video on Twitter today, or what? Maybe it was just, I don't know, but there's this young lady, very charming looking, and it's funny because the background, the lighting they're using, have blasted her face so pale white. Oh, it's. I felt kind of bad for the person, but okay. I'm not going to mislead you. I'm not going to clickbait you. There's going to be no names given. It's just this is a subject I've talked about, for the last couple of years. Yet they're now putting videos out on it, like it's a new idea. And I'm like, it's like normally I don't toot my own horn, but it's like I like to get a little credit where credit is due. It's like I've been the one sitting there saying, look, if they go to, or the next doctor will likely be, what you call it. If it's not another lady, it'll be a way call it. It'll be a guy, and he ain't gonna be white. He's not gonna be Caucasian. Otherwise, you're gonna undermine the whole thing. And that's what they said. It'll either be another woman, or it'll be. I'm like, wow, who's been saying that the last couple of years? It's like it's not hard to reason out. And of course, if this does, or for when this does happen, what's going to happen over there in the other camp. Their heads are going to explode. They're going to say, diversity hire. They're ticking all the boxes. They didn't pick a doctor I like, so now I'm going to be a sad little grump who masturbates in his bedroom every night. It's like, ugh, oops, I said a dirty word. There goes my monetization. You see, that's why another thing I love about YouTube before we go on. You've had people who've built entire channels and still to this day swear their heads off, yet they don't get their monetization yanked because they've got 100,000 subscribers or more. And you see, they should be treated like the little princes, countesses, and royalty they are. Screw them! How come I don't get those same freedoms? But oh well. So, yeah, I just saw that video this morning, and I'm like, why the hell are, like this was a new idea. I'm like, I've been sprouting this, I've been spouting this out for like 2-3 years or more. That the next doctor is probably not going to be, the straight white male that everybody wants. I'm not kidding. He'll either be someone from the LGBTQ community, or it's going to be somebody who's not Caucasian. They're not going to go back to the same old formula. Everybody's been jumping up and down going, Chib will run the show, so they called RTD to save it. No, they called RTD because he's the only one who wanted it. So, another day, another dollar, and once again, someone's, shouting something I've been saying for years like it's a new idea. But that's the world we live in, 95% of it is other people taking credit for something else someone did. But that is the way of life. It is the circle. So, okay, let's see what's going on in the chat. Yeah, well, everyone's pulling those. As long as they can act, that's all that matters. Jodie Whittaker can act. So, ha. Oh, by the way, for the naysayers, that's another thing I wanted to go off on this morning. One thing the naysayers are jumping up and down and saying is, I know vendors who go to conventions and Jodie's stuff is not selling. That's funny because the steel box set for Flux, the Blu-ray set order for Flux is now number 2 on the top selling charts in the UK for the last few weeks. It started out as number 1 and stayed there for a while. It's still at number 2 now. It's like, remember, it was this big flopping piece of shit that was supposed to, not even be recognized. But what I'm saying is this. like I said, we all have different opinions. We're all gonna agree on the same things. If we did, the world would be a boring place. It really would. I'm not kidding. Everybody's wearing Argyle socks. Okay, but okay. The thing also I wanted to go off on was this whole the merchandise isn't selling thing and all that. I know because vendors at cons tell me this thing. Uh, guys, I was a guy who sold stuff at a flea market for how many years and all that, and I'm a old fart now. But let me tell you what's going on exactly with why vendor sales are down at cons. That's because people have discovered this hidden mystic place. It's like a fairy tale land where you can get everything they've been getting if you look good enough. Actually, there's two of these grand high temples of mystic things that no one can contemplate. Very few know about them. They're called eBay and Amazon. One of the things I noticed when I was vending at the local flea market, I did it for fun. I did it for Kegs Plus. I had a mountain of extra shit that I was going to sell. I wanted to get rid of. And I used to pack up my 83 hearse, go out there on a Friday night, because that was the only place you get a decent space. The actual, flea market thing was open on Saturday morning. And I think they did some Sunday, but I never went out on Sunday. It wasn't worth it. So you go out there on a Friday night, get a good spot, because that was the only way you're going to get a good spot. If you showed up on Saturday, forget it. So I'd be out there, I'd bring my 83 hearse, I had a futon mattress in the back, and we'd open up, or I'd open up, what I'd do is I'd get there, open up the back, unpack everything, lay my tables out, throw my covers over them, that I had, and then I had a blanket, a pillow, and all that, and I'd hop in the back of the hearse and go to sleep till morning. My big old 83 Cadillac hearse, I miss that car. That car ran like a dream to the day I sold it. Oh, man. But I'll have to put up a picture of it sometime. I called it the Monolith because that's what it looked like. Okay, it was like... and it was really comfortable back. Plus, if I really got lazy and all that, I didn't want to unpack the car, the back bench seat, the front bench seat was this solid actual spring seat, like a mattress. Oh God, that was comfy too. But fortunately, that's right. A couple of years later, my sleep apnea came on. I couldn't do it anymore because I just plain couldn't sleep. All right, but that's another thing. But all right, the top secret is this. What they'd go do is these guys would go out to the local dollar stores, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, and they'd buy up a bunch of stuff for cheap, like little $1 items. Then they mark them up for they'd buy like toys and stuff for the kiddies, these big bright, toys. And then they take these dollar toys and they bump them up to $3 to $5, depending on what they were. And then, of course, you have people who are from the outside local area don't know they've just been, had. Because, congratulations, they just made anywhere from $2 to $4 on the sale of that one item they, pawned off on your kid that they bought for $1 yesterday. And the thing with being a vendor is you get a lot of stuff wholesale and all that. But the thing is, I've noticed this in general. Why go buy stuff in a con dealer's room when 95% of the time you can find it online for cheaper? Now, I don't want to be bad because I've sold stuff at cons. I had my own little dealer's room set up and all that stuff before, but it was many, many, many moons ago. And because that was sometimes the only way I could afford to go to the con. But to sit there and say that your merchandise sales are down because of Jody Whittaker and Chris Chibnall, when meanwhile people have discovered eBay, Amazon, and all that, is just showing me what direction your mind is leaning. Because I hate to break you some sad news, folks. Malls are on the way towards extinction. If you're lucky, your nearest mall is going to become your local flea market, because that's going to be the only people renting space there for too long. But sadly, time marches on. Hell, pretty soon you're not even going to have cashiers anymore if these guys get their way, because they don't want to pay them. It's cheaper to get a machine to do the work. I've never met Karen Gillan. Sadly, the closest she came to me was she came to Cleveland, Ohio, but that's when they set up Cleveland Wizard Comic-Con or whatever. They set that up literally a year after I moved down here. So now Cleveland's like 4 hours away when it used to be a half hour from my doorstep. Plus, a lot of you got to realize also, popular actors and actresses like that, you either have to get the you're basically going to have to get the VIP pass, because when we went to the one con down here, you couldn't, my wife waited how long just to get anywhere near Marina Baccarin, and that's because she was very decent and came back, when she was, on time and all that. But that's a whole nother story. We'll go into that later. No one could get near Alan Tudyk. Like I said, we got up to Jewel State, we got up to, Sean Maurer and all that. Like I said, Adam Baldwin wasn't too much of a wait at the one con either. But neither was Ron Glass. But I liked Ron Glass, really kind man. But so so when you got high name actresses like that who are or actors or actresses, it's like there's going to be a line 50 miles long. So unless you shelled out the extra money, and I really don't like that whole concept though. You see, I don't believe anybody should pay a couple more bucks and be treated better than anybody else. That's just not how I work. All right, it was an hour and a half. I wanted to get that right. Thank you, hon. But you see what I mean? It's like, I'll tell you another story about a con later when we met Norman Reedus. You'll love that story. But so, like I said, matter of fact, the only reason we were number one to see Summer Glau was we were waiting there an hour before she was due to show up. And that's another story too. She was very kind, but didn't have much time to talk to her because it turns out she had to be out that day for shooting. Well, folks, I just realized it's time for me to go in the building. So please be kind, be careful, be safe out there. I want you to think of other people in the world who are not having a good day, who are, whose lives have been turned upside down. Think of those folks in the Ukraine is what I'm basically saying. And hopefully this will be somehow worked out so that we don't have any more people getting killed over some stupid idiot pride's nonsense. So stay safe. I'll see you all tomorrow. Hopefully see you all in the future. Good morning, all.